Chris, we move onward here. And Jordan Travis has left a remarkable mark on this program in so many different ways. And I'm not going to say it's the last one, but it's the last one for this season and moving forward in 2024 to make all the right conversations to DJ Uyangalele to get him to come to Tallahassee. And DJ had some great things to say about those conversations and how impressed Jordan Travis has been with his relationships with all the various members of the coaching staff and the way the scheme has worked for him and will work for DJ and allowed him to grow and the coaching and development. And so here we go toward 2024.
I mean, if you're a Florida State fan and Jordan Travis isn't in your top five, I don't know who you're looking at personally because of what the young man endured, under another coaching staff. Then, having a shock, of man, I might need to switch positions because I'm being told I'm not a quarterback. And then all of a sudden you get told that they have enough faith in you to be a Heisman candidate or a Heisman winner, and you develop the way that he did. That's why I keep bringing up the fans. They're all, well, Brock's not this or this kid's not that. And I'm like, well, neither was Jordan Travis when Mike first got here. He wasn't that either. It's a little bit different. Like Kalen DeLoach, he just needed the opportunity to play. He was what he is. He's always been that. Has he gotten better? Probably. But he's always been what he is. Jordan needed true development and coaching to get to where he was and now where he is at. But Jordan's a Knoll through and through. I mean, he's recruiting on his way out. Like this is it. Like he's not playing here anymore. He's getting PT'd, physical therapy being done there in Tallahassee. But the entire time that he's got a cast on, he's either rolling on the sidelines at the Orange Bowl, rolling on the sidelines at the ACC Championship, rolling on the sidelines against Florida. Just the kid doesn't stay away from Florida State for what he loves. He loves the university. He definitely loves Mike Norvell and Tony Tokarts and Alex Atkins and so on. But he has a true relationship with each and every one of the members of that football team as well. And he's continuing to create relationships with guys that are coming in, DJU being one of them. I think a lot of people don't realize that Jordan's talking to a lot of guys. He's talked to a lot of the recruits that ended up coming, like Cam Davis and so on. He's done probably just as good recruiting as any coach on that staff. He's probably done just as well as any of them. And he's given it to him from a player perspective. He's given it to him from a perspective of, I was this, I've been developed into this. All you have to do is be willing to put in the work. You put in the work, they'll put in the work. They'll be beside you the entire time, and they'll be behind you to keep pushing you forward. I've got to hear some of his conversations with guys or see them. So Jordan's probably going to go down as one of my favorite players of all time. Statistically is one thing, but the true nature of who he is, the character that he is, it's second to none. So he's just one of those guys.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I agree 100%. And Jordan Travis isn't the only one. This is something you've seen year over year. Jermaine Johnson was only here for 1 year, headed out in the first round. On his way out, who did he bring to Tallahassee? Jared Verse. Jared Verse is here 2 years. He's on his way out of Tallahassee, going to the draft. Who was hosting Marvin Jones Jr. when he came to town and locking down that commitment. So it's just a credit to that culture that, like we were kind of hinting at earlier, that's been questioned out there. The people that really know these players inside the program, there is no question of a culture. Jordan Travis, I think he's like second or third in tons and tons of different records throughout the record books throughout his time here. I mean, he was absolutely invaluable to the team. You saw it, how the rest of the world reacted, how the whole snub happened and everything. It all started with him going down. definitely top 5 player in Florida State history. You just can't say enough great things about him, and it's awesome to see how far he is in that rehab. I don't think people realize, how tough this dude is, and that the fact he is going to come back and he's going to make a run at the NFL, and we're just all pulling for him moving forward.
I'm not going to say he's not in the top 5, but I'm going to say that's a tough list to crack in the top 5. So
FSU?
Yes.
As far as best players, if you're talking like NFL prospects and stuff like that, I don't know about
his
them. That's
NFL
not what I'm
career
talking
yet.
about. As far as what he brought, plus or minus wins to Florida State and what he meant for the program over that 4 or 5 year period, like for me, easily. You think of Jameis Winston, you think of, Ward, Winky, and, Travis, he didn't get the Heisman, but like he was that 4th quarterback to go undefeated, to do so many different things and in the record books. So I guess that's the side I'm on. I wouldn't put, if you're going to do 5 NFL talents or whatever, best players ever to play college football coming out, that's a tougher conversation. But as far as what he meant to the program, he's top 5, no doubt, to me.
Sounds like a good conversation for the off season at some point. We can all come with our top 10 rankings and deliver those. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think it's just a lot of quarterbacks that people forget about how good, but I think the problem is that where you have to give him probably that 3 years of significant playing time. Whereas a lot of people haven't really gotten that at Florida State. I mean, even your greats like Charlie Ward. Chris Winkie had 3 years, 3 national championships. Charlie Ward had 2 significant years. Jameis had 2 years, but those would be your top 3. Danny only got 1 year, if I remember correctly, right after Charlie. He had Thad Busby, Brad Johnson, who got benched, I believe, but he had a pretty good. Those guys just won, so it was tough to still take them away. But man, boy, the last 2 years have been incredibly fun to watch. Going 10-3, and 13-1, with 19 in a row. Incredibly tough, and being as dominant as he was over rivals, with 3 victories against Miami and 2 against Florida, even though he didn't necessarily beat Florida last year, but he's 1-1 as a starter against Florida. So he definitely would be somebody that you have to put up there. And I think when you win championships, you have to. They did win an ACC, so and a lot of people think you think highly of EJ Manuel and Christian Ponder. I think he's definitely better than them. I think he'd have to be over those guys. And shoot, like I said, like somebody brought Casey. I always tell people Casey Willen and Danny Cannell both finished in the top 5 of the Heisman Trophy. It just people tend to forget them because they didn't win natties or they weren't the other guys. So, but it's a tough one. Tough conversations. Like again, it's going to be a long off season. A lot of good topics.